Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back, everybody. We're so glad to have all you Bi-Conics wrestling fans here with us on the Bi-Conics Review of Honor, where we go over Ring of Honor. We have our core three tonight. We are missing Andrew, unfortunately, but we do have Mikey on the ones and twos. We got Jesse sitting in house with me, and of course JVL here to screw everything up and keep us on track, on note. Gentlemen, so glad to have you back after a week off for some of us and kind of taking time for the holidays. I know Mikey was here all the time. So Mikey is holding down the fort. But before we get to anything in Ring of Honor, first, I will remember this. We are going to put our hands in, do the Code of Honor, even though Nyla Rose did not do it this night, which was very sad. But we also want to let you know that we are online at bcwrestlepod on all the different socials, as well as you can subscribe to our channel there. Drop a comment down if you like the stuff there, and let us know what you think is going to happen going into Final Battle in about 2 weeks. So, this was a jam-packed Ring of Honor taping from two different locations, and honestly, most of the stars were there. We had a lot of the Ring of Honor, faithful, a lot of the people that have been there for a long time, showcasing why this is an amazing, amazing brand of wrestling. None more so than our opening promo with Athena, Lexi, and Billy, where Athena runs down Eddie Kingston for not calling her out and basically owns Ring of Honor.
She spoke absolutely nothing but the truth there, and I absolutely loved it. I was floored by it. I need more of this. Start the show off with Athena every time, and I'll be pleased.
I love this so much. First of all, I love the first half of this, which was just another MIT, segment where Billy has her match against Marina Shafir later tonight, and Athena's just like, listen, in singles matches, you're okay, you're pretty decent, but every time we team up, you always make us lose. I was like, Athena? I'm like, yes, she takes the pin, but that's because you're not paying attention half the time. But, it is what it is. Again, and then the promo after Billy leaves, I mean, there are no lies detected here. And that is why Athena, spoiler alert, is my women's wrestler of 2023, because she will fight any woman and man on that. Listen, Eddie versus Athena is a match I didn't know I wanted until she mentioned, I will fight you, Eddie. And I'm like, yes, Athena versus Eddie is kind of an amazing match that I want to see.
The reason that this promo went over so well is because Athena's just saying what we all are thinking. It's what I've been complaining about nonstop. Have the titles present. Be there.
She's the only one holding down the fort at all. She is ROH. And you're right, Mikey. If the titles weren't tied up in this Continental Classic, I could see her taking him down and taking his NJPW Strong Openweight Championship and just out of nowhere running NJPW. Also, give me her versus Mercedes Moné at some point soon, because that would be an amazing match.
Yeah, she just recently started back her training. Her ankle's feeling better.
Exactly. It's going to be a big night if she comes down to ROH and does some good stuff with them. But we then move from someone telling Eddie Kingston that they're going to be having their lights knocked out by them and that they're better than them, to Lee Johnson taking on Eddie Kingston in a prove-it match, which this is the first one I've seen any of the men's wrestlers do, which is amazing. A proving ground match to have set up there. And Lee Johnson nearly took him to the limit of the time.
I was so happy to see Lee Johnson, which I know you can pause here for a moment because it's going to be very strange for me to say that, but to see him doing something else, something different, working with a different person. They had good chemistry. It was a good match. It was athletic at points. It was brutal at points. This was a really good opener. I was very happy with this match.
It made me really happy to finally see Lee kind of get away from the void that was him, Action, and Darius, either in tag team or in a trios match. But it seems everybody's kind of mostly doing their own thing now, which I'm happy to see. And I feel like this is a reward for Lee Johnson for putting in the work the last couple of weeks over full in Ring of Honor. And this match was fun. I like Lee. I love Eddie. This was a match that was fun to watch. Of course, I didn't think Lee was going to win, but my God, we got very close. And I actually thought, oh, they might actually let him. But
there
then,
was a point of believability, especially his frog splash and the 1-2 ooh. I was like, well, okay, now I'm not exactly sure where this match is going to go.
Plus, with Caprice and Ian all going about how much time is left and keeping us involved with almost the 15 minutes were gone, this could have just been you lasted long enough.
I love Ian and Caprice, man. That's why watching them every week on Ring of Honor makes me feel invested because they care, which makes me care. Can't speak for some other folks, but
Strong opener. I did also say on this, after we have Athena run down Eddie Kingston for being, the champion that he is, you set your champ as your opener. Your champ isn't your main event. Your champ isn't this, the Proving Ground, or anything else. He's your opener. So kind of still feeding that narrative of like Athena's later in the card and showing these things, and Eddie's the first thing out there. We then transitioned to our first tag team match of the night where we had the Infantry taking on the Boys. And my God, these four people know each other so well and definitely have the same style that this was just them having fun with each other the whole time.
Did anybody else have to pause after Caprice said this specific line, or was I the only one that picked up on it? Okay, I think the silence is a no. When he said, the thing that's dangerous about the Boys is they can be around you and in you at the same time, and you won't notice. I'm like, hold on. I need to double check and see where we're actually going with this comment here.
I love Caprice so much.
And then there was the whole thing about twin magic at the same time, too. You never know which one's inside, but that's okay. The competing like woos and the hoots from the Boys and oh my God, Carly Bravo just like at the beginning, like doing the handshake and throwing them off and everything. It was just such a good, fun tag team match to watch.
I've got nothing else to add. It was fun to watch. There was a couple times I actually audibly giggled while watching this.
I love the Infantry, and every time they are in a match on Ring of Honor television, it makes me like them more and more. And I'm just like, man, I can't wait to see you guys eventually go after the tag titles when they're no longer hostage.
Who knows? But they were also talking about that too. That they punched their ticket at this point to be in line for those titles and then mentioned them on TV. So we know they're still out in the ether. But also mentioned was in this next promo we had Rachel Ellering talking to Lexi and mentioning how she was feeling about Layla and how Layla Hirsch has been dealing with. Interrupted by Maria, who comes in to say she's been speaking to Layla and Layla's doing great and she's and all these good things. Rachel has to ask what was her conversation with the Renegades about last week, and at that point, Layla appears. So, did you just speak to her around the corner? Like, were you in the magic backstage area, or did you actually call her at the hospital? What's going on with this, Maria? What's happening here?
I was so confused. The way that Rachel Ellering was talking about Layla, I've been talking to her. It sounded like she was injured and she's at home recuperating, and then poof, she's there like a genie. Like I think they may have said her name 3 times. Either way, I was so confused by this promo.
She is the Beetlejuice of the women's division.
I mean, I wouldn't be all mad about that. I will say it was a little weird of how we got to this point because as of last week, Layla and Rachel kind of were still not on the same page, even though they won their match last week.
Right.
And then it seems they're now more on the same page because they both are sus about Maria's intentions. I still think Maria is pulling strings here and she's like, listen, Layla and Rachel, I was just like, in her head, she's like, I'm going to pick these two regardless to represent anyways, but I'm going to make them dance through hoops a little bit because I need to see how far they're willing to go. This is like the most gaslighting storyline we got going outside of Team MIT.
You know, it's fun that Maria's actually involved in a fun storyline like this because, Creator Wrestler 7 got concussed and so he can't be on TV right now. So they got to put the Mama's Boy storyline to the side.
It is a blessing.
So bad because you just said that and I was like, oh, you're right. He was clearly not missed by me.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. So we had that quick setup because there was going to be a match with Layla later on. They're both going to be in her corner. That's going to be a lot of fun. But first, we get another return and part of the Infantry as well. Emi Sakura takes on Trish Adora, and my God, the hard chopping hits on this. Like, this was a brutal match against each other. Capillaries were busted. There was blood in certain places. Emi was rocking Trish around the ring. I am so happy that they're using Emi Sakura the right way, which is to put over all this young talent and get them there to where they need to be. But at the same time, be as tough as possible, so they actually have to earn it. Like her back elbow into the lariat was an amazing move. I love that so wholeheartedly.
Mikey, you go ahead.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
It's not an oh no.
Oh, it's an oh maybe.
It's a ooh, no, it's kidding.
Ooh, ooh. No, that's the Brandon Cutler match later.
I mean, I love seeing Trish on my screen. I'm happy that she's back in in a more on-screen capacity. Emi Sakura is on a roll. Okay, like she's just popping up anywhere and everywhere, and even in Lost, she still looks great. The match itself was pretty good, but the part that popped to me was at the end when Emi was celebrating. She made the referee bend a knee so she could sit on it like her throne.
Yep.
Listen, Ring of Honor, please let's keep Emi on as a regular. Let her and Layla as a match I want to see so bad.
I mean, honestly, she could take on Rachel Ellering and it'd be amazing too. Have Emi go out against her and like that versus the strong smile.
Listen, Emi versus anybody at this point, I am willing to take it. And now I pass.
Emi will have done it before, and they're really good. So yeah, that could work.
And now I pass it to Jesse. I want to hear your thoughts.
I don't have many thoughts. I like Emi. I'm glad to see her. This match didn't do it for me. I wasn't a big fan. I thought it was just okay. Some of the caliber of the women's wrestling we've seen on this program has been very high. That this was just kind of, I don't know, Mikey. You're more in touch with the kid slang. I guess I'd say this is a bit mid.
I can see your point.
Old, either way,
I can see your point because this match was also relatively short too, so it didn't necessarily help. I think what gives me a different perspective is the fact that because I watched pretty much everything and I've seen Emi the last couple of weeks on other programming and I know what she's capable of. Like this match wasn't necessarily the best, but I personally didn't care because Emi's great, but also I'm just happy to see Trish back because I was getting worried when she hadn't appeared for the last couple of weeks.
I mean, they did pass it off that she had been in Japan training over there and doing some stuff with NJPW. So hopefully that was to build some bridges over there so she can get in the next tournament with Stardom or do something with them overall. But we move then from a decent match with two entrants that really worked to our first squash of the night. Now this was built around a storyline that didn't do anything at ringside. I love the commentary on the entrance for Layla, where it's like, I see two shadows back there coming from either side of the tunnel. What could this mean? Oh, it's Maria and Rachel, and they're coming from the heel and the babyface side of the tunnel. But they follow her out. Layla comes out to face Heather Reddick, who we've seen a couple times now. She's local around there, from Pittsburgh, I think. But she's jacked, and she has been really fun to watch in this kind of role the last couple weeks. She sells like crazy. And this was the first time also to see Layla walk up and go, oh, I can't see where you are because I'm mildly taller than you are, which she's never taller than anyone.
This was a better squash match than I expected it to be. It wasn't as formulaic as most of Layla's, but I couldn't get past the visual of the Battle of the Oompa Loompas. Like, if either one of them had a bad spray tan, I would have been done.
Can I ask, honestly, though, what were Maria and Rachel there for other than the fact that they had been in the promo earlier? What did they do?
And what did it do at the end of the match when Layla didn't shake anybody's hands? Because, they're on the same page. Now they're not. Now they are. Now they're not. I'm so confused by this. Can we pay attention to what we're doing before we actually do it and make sure it makes sense, please?
I feel like they progressed the storyline as a response to the Mama's Boy story having to be put on pause for right now since generic creator wrestler number 583 concussed himself, which, by the way, ironically, it was a blessing in disguise, but we also wish for a speedy recovery because nobody deserves to be concussed. Whether we may not like his wrestling character, but we do not wish.
No, he's a good worker. I don't love his character, but I hope he has a very speedy recovery and it doesn't happen again.
Poor Griff, man. He can't catch a break because that also means he's on the shelf too for a little bit.
Pause that. I just had a wonderfully terrible thought, as I tend to on these things.
I'm all ears.
What was Layla Hirsch's? What was the opponent?
Heather Reddick.
Heather. I thought it was. Yeah. Okay.
Heather
Reddick.
Reckless.
And, yeah, it's Heather Reckless. That's what it was.
It
Yeah.
is Reckless.
I can't read it. But Heather, I want to see Heather Reckless sign on, join Layla Hirsch, and be part of Maria, and then Maria has to dress like Willy Wonka, and the music when they come out, she has to play the flute at the beginning.
No.
Yes. Yeah, and white singlets.
My gripe is a oompa loompa oomp. La,
No,
loompa,
no,
loompa-dee-doo.
stop. Oh,
It's
I kind of want
terrible.
to see it. It's
utterly
terrible, but I kind of want to see it.
You'd watch.
Terrible, but you'd watch it. It'd be entertaining.
You know what else is entertaining? Willie Mack back on our screen, taking on Robert Anthony, who is a throwback ancient wrestler, but very strong. And Willie Mack squatched him very nicely and took it a little farther than a squatch, honestly. He gave him a little bit of room there. But Willie prevailed in the end with his amazing offense, and it was wonderful to have him back on our screens.
I'm glad Willie Mack got a win. He came out, and I looked at the record. I was like, he's only 3-10? The hell's been going on? But he got a win here. I'm happy. It was a squash match, a little bit longer than one, so there's a little bit of development in there. But I'm just happy to have Willie Mack on my screen.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Willie Mack, MVP. He won. Yay! That's all I have in my notes.
And then Robert Anthony will obviously join the Outrunners next as a throwback team with,
Oh my gosh,
two 80s
please.
guys and a Dan Severn type.
Please.
And also the Butcher's mustache will join them.
Which side of it?
We'll talk about that mustache because I was watching and I had to pause. I'm like, I'm questioning myself right now.
I didn't know you were into walruses. Let's move on quickly, though, from our Willie Mack wonderful attack to what honestly was the storyline of the entire evening and set up what came next. This was Billy Starks taking on Marina Shafir to get back the win after being attacked by Ronda Rousey. No, this is not.
No, this is. I'm just shaking my head because I'm like, why was this not the main event?
100%.
This was my match of the night. This should have been the main event. The part that gets me that I went, like, I audibly cringed, like, ow. Billy rocked her with one of those forearms. Like, the elbow just hit her right in the jaw. And you
Shivered
could
her.
see, like, really hit her hard.
Both of them were working really snug. Marina was actually like putting these locks on that are very, very tough. That one where she kind of got her in that reverse bow and arrow, which with the leg locked. I honestly I believe it's because Billy's 18 and that bendy and everything hasn't set yet that she can actually sit there and take that move for as long as she did. Because that knee was the wrong way.
Listen, after the replay that we got on Wednesday night of, a certain Martin brother, I don't need to be seeing any more limbs be snapped in half and explode on my television screen. There was also one part where Billy almost looked like she almost really hurt herself because when she went through the middle rope and dived onto Marina, it looks like towards the tail end of it, like her foot slightly got caught on the rope and it was like, I was like, oh no. Thankfully, Marina was like,
she missed.
I was like, oh no, but thankfully Marina Shafir was like, let's do this.
Well, and Marina's hip tosses are super realistic.
Oh my
So
gosh,
cool.
bro.
Like, they're just quick and it's a whip crack fast. It looks so horrendously terrible in the body. Also, the rebound kick out of the corner where she came back off the top rope and then smacked her in the face.
Yeah, that was cool.
This was a showcase of why Billy is the prodigy that Nick Wayne isn't, and why she honestly should be running this division in a lot of ways.
I still cannot get over how beautiful her spinning back heel kick is. Where I call it the rainbow mask because it's the black mask, but she's got all the colors. But I will never get over watching that and how pretty of a kick that is. I take one. I know it would break my jaw, but still, just to admire the beauty of that kick.
And it was the perfect setup for what came afterwards because Billy ended up getting the win and then beating down Marina afterwards, like really taking it to her, going full heel. And out comes Athena with Lexi, and Lexi's in a red graduation uniform. They put a yellow one on our lovely Billy Starks, and the crowd starts chanting ketchup and mustard.
I was going to say, I was just like, you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Chicago, you are the best.
I couldn't get past. I couldn't stop laughing at the "We want mustard" chants.
Yep. And the whole running through the whole thing that we need a valedictorian and Athena selling it and then yelling at the crowd to shut up and getting through everything else. Oh.
Being disrespectful. Shut up.
And of course, who's our valedictorian, Mikey? Who was the valedictorian and now the minion number one bestie?
I've said it from the very beginning. You gotta love the commitment from Lexi in this whole entire... And Ian and Caprice reminded me, like, oh my God, you're right. This has been a year-long story that we've gotten with Billy and Athena and
long.
Lexi. I was like, holy Toledo, bro. Like, oh my goodness.
And we've been invested the whole time in it. Like, it hasn't felt like a year.
It's not gotten stale at all because they're finding new ways to make it fun and not taking it too seriously.
I
also
never have felt bad for Mustard in my life more than towards the end of this, because Lexi gets all the accolades, the graduation. Sarah, I love Athena's line, though. I wrote it down. She's like, okay, we're going to go now because y'all are being rude.
Can I also say I have now finally heard everything and seen everything in wrestling? Lexi Nair got booed in the ring for just being there.
For existing.
Yeah, for existing. Like, yes, you've booed one of the best and nicest people in the world because she exists. Like, how dare you? But Billy gets down. She's told multiple times to get out of the ring. Comes on down there. She is disappointed. You can tell she is heartbroken. And she finally snaps and lightly throws Athena into a barricade just to hand up. Like, it was legitimate. Like, I don't think they timed it right. And it was like, it looked like the weirdest, lightest push in the world.
Yeah.
But then she stands over and is like, I'm going to take what's yours. I'm going to do it. And she's holding the title up. I'm like, give me this at Final Battle. Give me this.
Well, we won't have to wait long for that confirmation. But Athena was smiling at the fact that Billy has gone full rogue with this. And I was like, this was her plan all along. Corrupt the innocent.
The laughter sold it so well. Athena just lying there next to the barricade and laughing.
Literally, she is the Disney villain we want. No, she's a DreamWorks villain, because DreamWorks villains are written so much more better.
And they're much more colorful.
I mean, I will never listen. Puss in Boots will never make me look at certain fairy tale characters again in the same way, because I'm like, damn, you are so evil.
Well, speaking of evil, we go to actual evil next, because we come off of this to my secondary match of the night. This was not my match of the night, but it was definitely secondary because I enjoyed every moment of it, as the Dark Order's Evil Uno, accompanied by Negative One, who we haven't seen in probably over a year.
It was good to see him. Yeah.
Good to see him, and he's gotten big. Versus Dalton Castle, accompanied by the Boys. This is for the Ring of Honor TV tournament. This is the Survivor match.
The survival of the fittest.
Whoever wins this goes on to the finals at Final Battle, I believe.
Yeah, so if you win your survival of the fittest qualifier match, you are automatically into that 6-way survival of the fittest match at Final Battle. So that means that the winner, Dalton Castle, spoiler alert, is going into Final Battle to get the television title. And I don't care what the other matches hold. If Dalton Castle does not walk out of Final Battle as champion, I may or may not have to reconsider my subscription to our Honor Club. No, I'll keep watching. What am I talking about?
I was going to second that completely. I will also say, oh, wow, it's double duty for the boys tonight. The boys are back out again after their big match. And if you notice throughout the entire entrance, Dalton Castle always knows where his camera is. He was always on that camera.
I need all the
so
wrestlers.
damn captivating to watch.
Exactly. I need all the wrestlers to take a masterclass from Dalton Castle on where to find your camera. Seriously.
Oh my lord. And I love, like, you know, the Uno kind of trying to get out of all the throws and trying to get around him and do his usual shtick. Aubrey Edwards not falling for the Uno throw the leg to him so I can kick him in the face. You know, like, Aubrey was in on the whole thing. It was wonderful. And it just, they tore each other apart. I love that he was afraid of Dalton trying to rip his arm off for most of the damn match. It was just so well put together. And if we didn't have Billy and Marina on the match and then the thing afterwards, this would have been my match of the night. This was so good.
I think this was tied as I think I actually had three tied as matches of the night. The Marina Shafir and Billy went over it, but this one was definitely up there. And I liked the kind of psychology behind Evil Uno targeting Dalton Castle's back in those moments that he could, because we know that Dalton Castle had that broken back that he's dealing with, and it's, you know, repaired, but still.
That's why he wears the brace that you can see outside of his trunks.
Yeah.
And
plus he looks good in the high waist look. So
he always does. But that also showcases that he's doing all of that strength-based movement and a lot of the hip-based throws with a back that's very much repaired. How is he doing that? He's insanely awesome. And the promo afterwards, as he's cutting on the mic as well, saying, like, you know, you can't compare him to anybody else to me. I'm not like anybody else. It's so good.
I want his cape. The cape he has on his entrance, I want that. I would wear that every day. No shame.
All right, Christmas gift idea is in the bag. Perfect.
Seriously, we were going to get him Dalton Castle inspired stuff.
You realize that my daughter will be more of a fan of yours now because they love Dalton Castle.
Who doesn't love Dalton Castle?
I was begging them to name our dog Dalton Castle, but they won't do that because they said if we were ever at an event and Dalton Castle was there, or we're watching TV and Dalton Castle's on, the dog might think that it's their name and they'll start barking.
Maybe they can reconsider. Okay. Moving on from
You know
there.
who else was reconsidering something? Tony Khan having the cue cards in the wrong space as he comes out to announce all the new stuff about Final Battle and all the ticketing about what's going on at AEW in his usual, very much not great on camera way because he is very, very stilted on camera. Lexi's doing her best and she is so animated and she's so happy there. He's congratulating her for becoming, graduating and all that stuff. And they're interrupted by a very game Billy Starks, who is demanding from Tony Khan to get Athena at Final Battle. And Tony Khan, not breaking the fourth wall or breaking the magic of it all, turns to the next camera with the cue cards that says exactly what he's supposed to say and gives her battle at Final Battle. You have earned it. You've definitely shown that you've done better in this entire division. And because you're owning it, I think that you can take on Athena up there in Final Battle this next couple of weeks at Final Battle. Final Battle.
Only on Honor Club.
Blink twice if you're in trouble, Tony.
Are you okay?
That's what it seems like. It seems like he's being threatened behind the screen that no one else can see every time.
It's his dad, Shad Khan, just back there going, you spent money on this?
I also think, who knows when this promo was taped, but maybe he's dealing with a certain dentist who's about to who chewed him verbally and chewed him out verbally for all to see. It's kind of baller.
Dr. Britt Baker was complaining about the fact that, being shunted for MJF getting a lot of time on the mic and all these things, and a lot of other people getting their things cut down because MJF is the night-long storyline and all that stuff, and voicing what the locker room is saying, which is it shouldn't just be the MJF, so we have so many other people here that need time.
She went off.
She's right, but when you said a dentist chewed him out, I was like, Isaac Yankum? But wrong dentist.
He's a mayor now, thank you very much. His days of chewing are over. Now he's just effing everybody. It's wonderful. Maybe jeffing, we don't know. We move on, though, from that wonderful kind of deadpan thing. And I'm
We're
very
not just going to run past that real quick because this is what I've been wanting for the last year. Billy gets her first big pay-per-view match, man. I was like, listen, Tony Khan kind of messed up the delivery of this, but this is not the main event. I will fight.
They're going to fight.
Well, I want them to fight. I want them to, try to kill each other because this is the perfect time to kind of do a very physical grudge match style because Billy has to give Athena all the receipts that she's been given from her the last year or so.
But here's the other question. Is Billy going to win? Or is Athena carrying on? Because Athena's going to be taking on more people going into the next year.
I don't want to get too deep into it because we can be here all day. Would I mind Athena still holding to the title? Yes. But I think from a Booker's perspective, for me, because I have the Booker bucket hat on.
The Booker hat.
The Booker hat.
I tell you to get up if this is your house.
Exactly.
I think going into 2024, I think it's time for Billy to have a run with the title and start the new chapter for the Ring of Honor women's division because Athena has been carrying this title for almost a year and a half now. She's on 400, 500 plus something odd days as Ring of Honor women's champion. She's pretty much defeated everybody in Ring of Honor in AEW and a few individuals that she fought from Stardom as well because her opponent at Super Card of Honor was from Stardom.
I think you pull the trigger on Billy, let her have the run, and give Athena some time away. She has been carrying Ring of Honor since I started rewatching it. Give her a couple weeks off. She's more than earned it.
I think Athena has earned some time off. Or if you want her to continue working, have her go hunt down Eddie Kingston and then have them fight in the streets. It'd be great. This next match actually made me smile.
It made me smile too because it was another Squatch. Hey, we can make a Squatch t-shirt. It was a Squatch from Colt Cabana. Boom, boom, Colt Cabana back on our TV screens. Thankfully, since CM Punk is not in the company anymore. And Brandon Cutler taking on Trevor Outlaw and GPA, otherwise known as Grade Point Average. And it was great to see, the entirety of Great Point Average there. They were a little lower than I thought they would be, but they definitely stood out, at least to be salutatorian levels. It was kind of fun. But no, this was just a way to run through the showcase. Brandon Cutler as a comedian, as a comedy wrestler, being able to take punishment back and forth and kind of be all over the place, and Colt Cabana getting his moves in and really just showing off for his home crowd. I always love seeing him there. I love him on commentary. We don't see him enough. Give me more Colt Cabana. Oh, like Jesse, go. Jesse's
drinking serious, so they just let it out, man. Just let it out.
This match was on my cut list. It didn't serve a purpose to me. Yes, I know we brought Brandon Cutler and Colt Cabana on so we could see them again. Cool. It didn't do anything for me. And who was it besides Great Point Average? Who's the other person? Trevor Outlaw. Yeah, they don't get an entrance, fine, and we know it's going to be a squash at that point, but they do the intro, show them, and the dude blows a snot rocket onto the mat. I'm done. I'm out. That's gross. So this did not for me.
You didn't even enjoy when Colt allowed him to the partners there. It's a GPA to fall, jump to try to break up the pin and just fall on top of his own partner to then hit him down for another pin.
I mean, that was fine. That was creative, but I was just so turned off by I don't like boogers, man.
Good tuna.
In his hand, it was just straight onto the mat. What's wrong with you?
Cancel the Halloween episode that we're going to do next year. Over.
The all snot one.
Yeah, the all.
Yeah.
Be like, well,
year to plan that we won't do it.
Well, Jesse, it looks like me and you aren't going on Fear Factor anytime soon.
Well, anyone is at this point because that's been off the air for nearly 20 years. However,
don't be a putz.
Ooh.
However,
I enjoyed this match. This was a lot of fun. I forgot that Bradley Cutler literally is cut, because then when they were celebrating afterwards and he took off the jacket, I'm like, I can grate cheese on that.
You really could. Remember when he was the D&D character? He'd roll dice at the top of the ramp. He was built during that, and he had Kratos type of makeup on and stuff.
I have a question out for the universe and to our fans: is why is it that the nerdy wrestlers who are extremely nerdy are also very hot? Why are there hot nerds who wrestle?
I mean, would you rather them be not hot nerds that wrestle?
That's fair. Continue.
I will. Because we move on to our next match for the TV title Survivor match for the tournament there. Gringo Loco versus Commander.
This was also on my list for match of the night. This was just a fun spot fest. They started at 200, ended at 250. I would have liked Gringo Loco to get the win, but I was happy with the ending. Every time I watch Commander, I'm more and more impressed.
And the two of them threw themselves all over the arena. They were taking bumps that probably were going to shorten their lifespans very, very, very much.
This was also in contention for my match of the night, only because Ring of Honor seems to be the only place where Lucha Libre gets to thrive without being oppressed by, we got to make sure that everybody else beats them. I was like, why? Why are we doing this? But
so it sounds to me like you missed the Mexicools.
No comment.
More like Super Crazy and La Parca.
Okay, I'm just going to put it like this. WWE is slowly doing something right, because what we got at Survivor Series between Dragon Lee and Santos was actually a lot of fun. And if they continue to do that, I'm excited for it. But AEW just buries the bodies, so to speak.
And yet, here on ROH, we have Gringo Loco coming out in an LOD. The Road Warriors, big tribute to them, which is great for their area, and he's from Chicago. And Commander just hangs in there, and even with a couple of botch spots that look pretty gnarly, worked really well. We then cut to something that probably could have been cut as well, which is Ethan Page setting up his next battle with Tony Nese at Final Battle, and Smart Mark Sterling's going to be handcuffed to the ring post, per Jerry Lynn.
The promo served its purpose. I was happy to see Jerry Lynn. I don't think he gets nearly enough credit in the wrestling world for everything he's done. So I was happy about that. But, I mean, the promo served its purpose. It didn't take up too much time.
Jerry Lynn just forgot where his mic was when he was trying to give his line. That was the only problem.
Yeah, so he'll just talk loud.
Exactly. Mikey?
Listen, I'm mad because I was like, yeah, they're going to have this match. I was like, we didn't get confirmation it's happening at Final Battle, but it's for sure happening at Final Battle. You can tell us it's going to happen at Final Battle, you guys. We literally only have 2 weeks until Final Battle. I think Tony Khan is rubbing off on me for how much I said final battle.
Final battle?
Final
Perfect.
battle.
So we
Mine.
move on from that kind of little promo there. I also love the continuity of Lexi still in her robes for all the wrestling interviews. Like, that was
Yes,
perfect.
I
Like, she's
love
still-
that little. Listen, continuity is key for me, and I am a sucker for it. And the fact that she was still in her graduation robes the whole entire rest of the night was the best thing, and that is why I nominated Lexi in contention to be up there for best backstage reporter for wrestling ever.
It's a very tight race between her and Renee for me.
Oh, for sure.
But then we move on to another tag match, which was kind of a little filler match here as well, with LFI taking on Spanish Announce Project. My thoughts on this match: Dralistico and Serpentico should have a match together. The other two should stay out of it.
I like this match. I thought it was too short. I think you could have cut out the Colt Cabana Brandon Cutler match and let this one go a little bit longer.
Even cut the Ethan Page promo.
Just let them work.
As the kids
And,
say,
so
let them cook.
The other two involved were Preston Vance and Angelico, as we were all told by commentary, because they were told by him that's how it's pronounced, which just sounded wrong the entire time.
Fine, whatever. I will respect his wishes.
Preston Vance, I think, needs a little more seasoning. He seems like he's the odd man out in this. He's a powerhouse. I liked him better when he was 10.
I was gonna
but-
say, I'm like, he has been lost in the sauce since he left Dark Order.
Pretty much as the big muscle of Dark Order. But this was a fun little match, but could have been better if it was given more time. We had to move on from there because I think next is Nyla Rose, and Nyla Rose taking on, what was her name? It was a jobber she took on, but
Zoe.
Zoe Lynn.
That's right. Zoe Lynn.
Who I really like. But can we just sign her for Christ's sake? Like, this is her third squash match she's been in. I would like her to be actually part of the roster because she works really well. She sells well. She's got a good look and she can move.
And on top of that, you could tell the two of them, especially Nyla, was having fun again. Like, it's been a while since I've seen Nyla have fun in that ring. She's mostly having fun being on commentary for Evil Uno's own Fed up in Montreal or up in Quebec. And if you can find those things on YouTube, it's comedy wrestling and fun other stuff all the time. Like, I wish I subscribed to it. It's so much fun to watch. But
She
two
says
of
the
them,
most
Uno and Nyla on
outlandish.
commentary is the best stuff.
It is so good. Do the wiener roll.
Do the wiener roll. He did it. But that's the type of fun she seemed like she was having here with Zoe. Was like,
It was-
this is her back in her element. It was so good.
I wish they let that version of Nyla Rose be part. Listen, I know they want to go with the Native Beast character, but let her interject her, like, she says the most funniest things in like the most serious way possible. Like, the wiener roll got me, and then also when she was doing commentary with Mrs. Evil Uno, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm about to witness homicide in front of me."
And not the wrestler homicide, actual homicide.
For reals.
But this was a squash in and of itself. It got over what it needed to. Hopefully we see more Nyla Rose as well as more Zoe on our ROH screens because she's not being used anywhere else. Let's honestly bring the entire AEW women's division down to ROH. Let's make this Stardom. Let's do it because there's plenty of room and everyone loves them down there.
I mean, for reals.
Am I wrong?
No.
I'm for it.
Listen, honestly, the first person I would immediately send to Ring of Honor, because I think they would thrive there, is let's send Ruby down there. Ruby, I think, would fit in so well.
Yes. Get her out of that stupid storyline with Cool Hand Ange and just let her run. For crying.
Give me Miss Lovelace again, or this Ring of Honor version of her, because that would be stellar.
Ruby Lovelace. So then we move on from our squash match. We then, I believe, go into our tag match after this. This is going to be Iron Savages versus the Butcher and the Blade. And
My
this
walrus.
was a hoss fight.
God, this match
And
was
I-
fun.
I have never more enjoyed the titty shower than I have ever in my life in this match. Seeing the Butcher getting rubbed into and motorboating Beefcake was hysterical.
Nobody talks about how Butcher and Blade are always down to do like the most ridiculous comedic spots ever. And in interviews, they're like, "Oh, we love this stuff. That's what we like, but we got to play the serious characters, though." I do miss the bunny, though.
Yeah, same.
I
It's
do
not
as well.
the same.
I've got 3 points. So when Bronson was motorboating the Butcher and the Blade's bald heads, that was amazing. the spot with the Savage sauce, which ended with them losing, which, I'm not a fan of them losing, but still I enjoyed the match. And can we have Bronson mic'd up the entire time?
Oh my God.
Please. I know it would have to shift to like a TVMA rating, but it's just so funny. He needs to mic'd up all the time.
They called that on commentary because Caprice and you're going, yeah, I'm hearing things that I'm pretty sure I can't repeat to anybody on our ROH broadcast here. I don't know if they understand exactly what they're saying. We should probably get them as the thesaurus at this point because the innuendo is very thick in here.
This match had no right to be this fun because on paper I was like, oh, okay, it's going to be a typical Butcher and Blade match, like with big men slapping big meat against each other. But Lord have mercy, this was more of a hoss fight than I thought it was going to be. And just again, Iron Savages are a national treasure, and they are probably my favorite new act to have come up on the scene in the last couple months.
That's why I called them your friends, my friends, everybody's friends, the Iron Savages.
They really
I
are.
love them.
The thing that's getting me, and I hope they actually figure out a way to play this up, Jack Jameson has been costing the matches left and right since he joined them. The secret sauce, all the other stuff that he's gotten them doing, like, their lifestyle and this stuff. He's a great talker, but I hope there's a reason why, like, all this stuff is going to come to a head. We're like, why are we listening to you? We keep losing. We need to turn on our jacked friend and actually go on our own, become Bear Country again.
That would be great.
But be Bear
The
Country.
Iron Bears.
The Iron Bears.
Listen, I will buy that t-shirt too. I'm just saying.
Exactly. So that was, honestly, if we couldn't have gotten Billy and Marina as our final of the night, that would have been a great match to close on. It would have been a good way to leave the night, everything else. We then moved to our main event, which was Brian Cage versus Action Andretti. On paper, I don't hate either of these performers. They are amazing performers. They do such amazing things in the ring, and they do have good chemistry because Brian Cage works with luchadors and smaller guys really well. I had no reason to want to watch this match. I was done with the night. It had been a long night of ROH, and it seemed like it never got started. It was just stop, start, do a move, try to get to the next point there. And even the finish where there was a hiccup trying to get into the gory setup, it just didn't seem like they were gelling at all. And this was a filler match. Also, continuity was thrown out of the building because this is obviously filmed before Nana had his crutch on Wednesday. So he's walking down all fine and dancing and doing all this stuff. I'm like, Nana, you're hurt. What's going on here?
I was happy I got to see Prince Nana. I'm happy that Action Andretti is doing something different than what he's been doing. Same as I said with Lee Johnson earlier. That's about it for me. The match, it was adequate. I don't want to say anything too damning just in case Brian Cage hears this and then I'm going to die because he's just... How is somebody who can look like that move like that?
Well,
it's terrifying.
He's bionic in some ways. Obviously, he can hear you with his super hearing.
All right, I'm going to go lock a few doors, please.
This is my house.
It was an adequate match.
It?
It didn't blow me away by any means. I didn't think we needed it on the card. Again, I would have cut this match as well. Yeah, that's it.
So, I didn't hate this match. I don't think it deserved to be in the main event spot, so to speak. I would have rather had, the combination of Billy versus Marina plus the graduation ceremony. Or honestly, if we had cut this match and let Iron Savages and Butcher versus Blade kind of end the night too, I think would have been a better thing. I didn't hate this match. I don't think it should have been in the main event spot, but I thought it was a pretty fun match. I will say, however, I do know that Brian Cage right now is just filling in and spinning his wheels because, the other 2/3 of Mogul Embassy are currently in New Japan right now, where they have officially joined, of all factions, the House of Torture.
That's right. I heard about that. I mean,
so they're currently in Japan right now. They're currently in Japan right now. So I'm just like, Brian Cage is just out here living his best life, dressing up as video game characters, fighting in street fights. Seriously, video game companies, if you do not put Brian Cage in a video game anytime soon, it is a crime because he is a huge video game nerd. But
I could see him in the next Mortal Kombat for some reason.
Oh, that'd be so good. Or, dude, put the man in Street Fighter. Street Fighter. Or Tekken. That would be so good. But as far as this match goes, I thought it was pretty fun. I like action. I like Brian Cage. I didn't dislike this match in any regards because, I was just happy to see Brian Cage in any capacity. I do agree that this shouldn't have closed this particular episode, especially what had happened prior. And again, I just feel like they put this match on because action is action, and I like Action Andretti. But, you want to still put Brian Cage on television to represent, he is part of the Trios, 6-man tags champions. But, they can't really do anything championship-wise because House of Torture has taken Gates of Agony.
Yeah, I thought I saw something come across your mind there, Jesse. Did you have anything you want to add to this?
I did. I kind of mashed together the two things I would have had as the main event, and it sounded fun to me. We've got Iron Savages and Billy Starks against Butcher and the Blade and Athena. Tell me that would not be a fun match.
Oh my God. Please.
Yeah, right?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
100%. But we can't have that yet. That is fantasy booking. That is utter fantasy for all of us, unfortunately. What is not a fantasy is that we watched this episode together, and now we get to rate this episode together. So, Mikey, then Jesse, then myself. On your empanada scale, where are we with this? Mikey, go ahead.
I give this a solid 3.65 empanadas out of 5.
You're going to give it a solid and do a very odd decimal like that.
It's still solid. It's just, a fraction of a solid.
Overall, as a whole entire card, at first when I saw the timestamp, I'm like, Lord have mercy, why is this a 2-hour show? I thought we were done with this Ring of Honor. But no, I was completely wrong. But honestly, minus my gripes of where the main event, what the main event ended up being, I think through and through, this is a pretty solid wrestling show. There was a lot of backstage. There weren't as many backstage segments, and the few that were, I feel like were, for the most part, in good places throughout the show and also set up some fun stuff. But yeah, 3.65 out of 5. Honestly, I feel like this is the most Ring of Honor roster show that we have had in a couple of weeks, because I feel like these are the folks that we constantly see all the time on Ring of Honor.
So for me, surprisingly, I'm giving this a solid 4 out of 5 empanadas. I actually really enjoyed this show. The 4 segments that I talked about that should have been cut, let's all do with this one and, do us all a favor for that and erase your mind. And that would make this so much better. And it might get a 4.5 or up to 5 maybe. But the time didn't bother me because everything kind of rode along pretty well. I think the match quality was good. Again, minus the ones I already talked about. But I enjoyed this. I was happy that I got to watch this one.
And I'll round us out with a solid 4.25 empanadas. This was the best Ring of Honor that we've had in the last couple of months. It was solid overall. It had everything we needed about it. And yes, even with pieces that need to be taken out. And you're right, Mikey. This was the roster that you can expect with it. And they're gearing up for a major event. So well done to everybody here. It was well worthwhile my 2 hours plus to watch this for everything else. But I hope this entire event with you out there was worthwhile for you to watch it with us. Because I can't speak for you two, but I had fun being here with everybody else in the entire Bi-Conics wrestling family. Did you guys enjoy this tonight?
I did. I miss the Renegades. I'd like them to be in action more because I enjoy them. I miss the Righteous. You can't have everything.
That'd be a 5 empanada. No.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That would bump it up to 5.
But for all of us here at the Bi-Conics Wrestling Podcast family, and for all of us here on the Bro, hands in, the match is over. We have observed the Code of Honor. And remember out there in Bi-Conics Wrestling Land, you're Bi-Conic. We're all Bi-Conic. Because we love to share this wonderful Ring of Honor with you. And we'll see you in our next video.